I've come across some peculiar stories. This time you might need more than just a backpack. A headlamp, a flashlight, and plenty of batteries might come in handy. When we think of the sewer system, we often envision the manhole covers we see on our streets. These are narrow shafts that lead to even narrower tunnels where walking upright is nearly impossible. But this image is deceiving. Many cities have extensive underground tunnels, some dating back to Roman times. The gigantic catacombs beneath Paris are particularly famous. Such massive underground systems can be found in nearly every older city. Many of these tunnels have remained unexplored for centuries, because in the late 19th century, numerous passages were sealed off to prevent homeless from dwelling there, a practice deemed undesirable in cities. Since then, most of the tunnels have remained sealed, but today we know that many of these tunnels had side entrances through which one can gain access. Some reports suggest that there are things lurking in the underbellies beneath our cities. In places where one would expect only ancient Roman-era sewage, there may be something more, something hidden. Some wonder, is there something living beneath us? On March 25, 1979, Canadian newspapers reported a strange incident in a Toronto sewer tunnel. This incident was similar to events previously reported in the newspapers. In the suburbs of Toronto, a notably high number of pets had gone missing. In that area, it was common for people to let their pets roam freely outside, but an increasing number of these pets never returned home. Then, something happened that likely explained the disappearance of these animals. In one of these suburbs, a 51-year-old man was searching for his cat, which had not returned home from its nightly excursions. As he stepped into the field, he came upon an unexpected sight. A stack of concrete slabs he hadn't noticed before. Below, the man could see the entrance to a tunnel unbeknown to him. The entrance had likely been concealed since he had been living there. Something must have opened the tunnel the previous night. The man was afraid his cat might be trapped inside the tunnel, unable to find its way back out. So he went back home, grabbed a flashlight, and entered the old, damp, spooky tunnel. As he ventured into the tunnel, suddenly something leaped into the beam of his flashlight. Deeply startled by the encounter, he later recounted it as dealings with a tall, ape-like creature, its eyes glowing orange-red under his flashlight's beam. This terrifying experience left him paralyzed with fear. The creature approached him slowly and did something unexpected. It stopped and spoke to him. The man described the creature's voice as deep and gruff, and it said, "Go away." In this instant, the man must have regained his composure. He turned and ran towards the exit as fast as possible. We only have information about this man from the newspaper article. His name remained undisclosed because he wished to maintain his anonymity. According to the newspaper, he was described as a down-to-earth, serious, friendly individual. A friend of his made sure the newspaper found out about it. Reporters joined the man in the field, where they discovered the entrance and entered the tunnel. They didn't encounter the mysterious creature, but they did find the man's dead cat, partially buried in the tunnel, along with numerous other animal bones, mostly belonging to cats and dogs. After the article's publication, other magazines followed up on the topic. Eventually, it faded from public attention, and the tunnel was sealed again. It's worth noting that this tunnel was not officially documented in any city directories of Toronto, and there have been no further reports of animals disappearing from there since this incident. Many believe this eerie story accounts for the pet's disappearance. What are your thoughts on this story? Do you find it plausible? It raises the question of why someone would create such a tale if they wanted to remain anonymous. Feel free to share your opinion in the comments. Aren't they cute, these little adorable rodents? They scurry around and munch on tiny nuts and other things. When you think about sewers, you'd probably expect rats. But what if there's something else down there? Something that has already struck fear into some people up here. Tokyo, one of Japan's most densely populated cities with approximately 95 million residents, has adopted advanced wastewater systems. Large channels run beneath the city, collecting sewage. During rainfall, these channels carry the water to state-of-the-art underground facilities that resemble massive cathedrals. However, there is also the older part of the sewer system, and it's so vast that you can truly get hopelessly lost in it. Tokyo, therefore, employs a massive number of wastewater management employees who are constantly on the go to check if everything is in order in the sewers. Nevertheless, some passages go unvisited for years. In the 1970s, there was reportedly a terrifying incident in one of these sewers. 2 workers were tasked with inspecting some of these older and rarely checked passages. As they entered one of these passages and moved forward for a while, they suddenly noticed that the floor was oddly soft. When they shone their flashlight on the floor, a shiver ran down their spines. The entire floor was covered with a thick layer of spider webs. Clumps of silk-wrapped items were scattered about these webs, and to their horror, on unwrapping them, they discovered dead rats contained within. The workers quickly realized that no ordinary spider could have done this. Suddenly they heard a strange noise, a scuttling. When one worker pointed his flashlight at the ceiling, he spotted a massive spider. Panic took over and they tried to run, but then one of them tripped and fell onto the floor. The man on the floor stood up just to find spiders the size of hands covering him. His colleague rushed to help. Together they brushed off the spiders. Meanwhile, his rescuer also fell prey to the spiders, while the giant spider above menacingly inched closer. With the last of their remaining strength, they managed to free themselves. After they recovered from the shock, they reported the entire horrifying incident to the police. Unsurprisingly, the police dismissed the workers' account initially. Only after persistent persuasion did they call the fire department to inspect the shaft described by the workers. Instead of firefighters, however, soldiers with flamethrowers showed up. The soldiers asked the men to show them the shaft they entered earlier, and then ordered them to leave. There is speculation about what may be lurking within these tunnels. The reality of this story is inconclusive. Despite some treating it as fact, there is no confirmation. The London subway, put into operation in 1863, holds the title of world's oldest and hosts Europe's most extensive network. Its construction was a significant technical achievement of its time. But the success came at a price. Stories of operational achievements ran parallel to accounts of accidents and fatalities from tunnel collapses. Throughout the years, newer, more modern tunnels and stations were constructed, while old ones were closed and abandoned. These old tracks and stations are no longer in service, and their entry points have been sealed off. However, despite these closures, the current operational subway infrastructure still retains some access points to these forgotten areas. In 1970, indications arose that these old tunnels and stations were not as deserted as originally believed. It all started when a young woman was waiting for her train late at night at the subway station. Only one station employee remained on this platform, who soon left. But later, as events unfolded, he would remember the young woman. The following day, the woman's family reported her missing, and the search began at the station, her last known location. Since the search in the active part of the subway system yielded no results, they decided to search the decommissioned areas, and it was there that a search team ventured into this forgotten world. After exploring the abandoned tunnels for a while, they found themselves in a room. In this room, they made an eerie discovery: a human skull and bones scattered around an old fire pit in the center. Upon closer examination, they noticed fire marks on the bones. The police were called right away, and a forensic team gathered all available evidence. As suspected, it confirmed that the bones had been exposed to fire. The presence of a fire pit in the room, along with the scattered bones bearing fire marks, led to the chilling suspicion that someone may have roasted and devoured a human over the fire. The search for the young woman continued, but she remained missing and was never found. The unsettling rumor of someone possibly having eaten a human quickly spread. Newspapers covered the story extensively, and inspired by the tale, 2 movies about cannibals in the abandoned London subway system were produced. The rumor that cannibals could be living in these abandoned tunnels beneath the city persists to this day. The older sections of the subway system are inspected regularly. There are signs of people residing in these abandoned underground areas, but with no evidence of cannibalism. Although inspectors consistently find scattered animal bones near fire pits, mirroring the discovery of human bones in the past. So the question remains, who or what resides there, and do they sometimes desire human flesh? If you ever find yourself in London and decide to explore this old section of the London subway, be sure to bring a camera. Should you return unharmed, please send me the photos. But if you do encounter any danger, I'll create a memorable video in your honor. Those were 3 peculiar stories from the world beneath us. The first incident has been covered in numerous newspaper articles, yet there is no concrete evidence to support it. What do you think might have happened there? As for the second story, ancient Japanese historical scrolls from the 14th century mention battles against giant man-sized spiders. Could some of these spiders have remained hidden over the centuries? And the third story, it might have occurred just as described. There have been reports of a series of unsolved murders in the subways of London. The victims were found with their limbs gnawed off and their innards ripped out. If you liked these stories about mysteries hidden under our cities, please give it a thumbs up. Until then, stay tuned for the next journey into the world of mysteries. And remember, keep your flashlights close and your wits sharp. Thanks for watching.